I write about things I don't fully comprehend, life, love, boys who don't reciprocate my affection even though I'm the most amazing human I know. I wish that was a joke. As a spoken word poet, I tell stories using rhythm, language, and wordplay to attempt and articulate this dissonant symphony that I feel inside. Sometimes it works, and it is magical. Sometimes it doesn't, and, well, that's okay too. You know that guy in the coffee shop who sits in the corner and looks out the window with a slightly perplexed look on his face like this? That's me! I use my metaphors as a shield, my imagery as mail, and my rhythm as war paint. Because with my pen as my sword tucked away in my pocket, it is the only way that I could ever go into battle. And for a while, my life was a war zone. But my notepad, however, was my den. See, the pages seethed with the sentiments that my intellect failed to connect to my mouth, where my fingers would scribble letters that made words and words that conjured sentences until the pale blue lines on the pages of my storage unit flowed with the rivulet of my brain. It let me feel like I was not alone. It gave me permission to be anything I wanted to be. See, the paper contained no judgment. It was simply a blank canvas where I could either choose to write on the lines or doodle on the sides. It invited me in, giving me a comfort that could only be bested by my mother's embrace. It accepted me even when I couldn't accept myself. See, from a young age, I was never really your cookie-cutter kind of guy. I was more the hand-shaped, slightly crooked, plopped on the pan, and let's hope for the best kind of cookie. You know, if I were a finger, I'd be a thumb, because I'm slightly different than the rest. If I were underwear, I'd be a thong. Stylish, controversial, and I'm great at making an ass of myself. And if roses were red and violets were blue, well, I was always somewhere in the middle. Like when I was 4, I asked my neighbor to pour glitter on my hair because I thought it looked pretty. I skipped as though I was in a meadow of flowers, each glimmering strand of hair shimmering in the sunlight, worthy of a serenade by Pocahontas. I came home, and I donned my shimmery new do, and I was met with a heavy shampooing, accompanied by a stern voice that I would grow to know too well. You know, you're a boy, boys don't do this. The first time I scraped my knee, I cried bloody murder, and my grandmother poured alcohol on it. I sat, with a face only a mother could love, breathing so sporadic, the talking was problematic, sobbing like a fish out of water, my bottom lip quivered like the quaking needle of a seismograph. It's okay, don't cry, boys don't cry. When I was 6, my dad tried to teach me how to hammer a nail. That was interesting. He sat patiently as I tried, for the 5th time, to hammer in a nail straight. And I failed miserably. And he said, well, you have to learn what kind of man doesn't know how to hammer a nail. Now, my father never yelled at me. In fact, he was the exact opposite. He was and is incredibly supportive of everything that I do. But I almost wish that he did. I almost wish that he outwardly yelled and blatantly disapproved, because the complacency in his comments made it seem like there was something about these expectations that was supposed to come naturally to me, that there was something that I wasn't getting right. And as tears slowly streamed down my face, I held my breath so my dad wouldn't hear. And I wondered if I could ever be the man that my dad expected me to be. You know, why is your hair like that? Why is your shirt pink? Why were you so girly in that show? I played his comments like a broken record in the back of my mind. His words lingered like the aftermath of a bonfire. I wore his seemingly innocent sentiments like a suffocating sweater for the better part of 18 years. And every day I would climb uphill, carrying this immensely disheartening boulder that turns motivation to mud, determination to dirt, and will to dust. My stomach became accustomed to that gnawing feeling of being the son that never lived up to his old man's manly expectations, and I thought I was going to go insane. I started to believe that maybe I was a disgrace, that maybe I don't deserve love, that maybe nothing I do will ever be good enough because I like Dick instead of Jane. And so I would write. I would retreat to the den that made me feel safe, that made me feel sane again. I would write words about the tumultuous ambivalence I felt on a daily basis, Poems about heartache and unfulfilled expectations, lines and stanzas riddled with doubt, interwoven with metaphors that only partially described how I felt. Similes that never could quite articulate how much disappointment I had felt in myself. Y'all, for so long I tried to wash away all the glitter. I did. I tried. But luckily, some stuck around and multiplied. Because I grew to realize that that which makes you sparkle and that which makes you different is why you are you. If roses were red and violets were blue, I preferred purple. Taking a little bit from both sides, I would mesh the two to create this beautiful hue that for so long was a symbol of royalty. I've always lived in the purple. And through my poetry, the entire world became purple. The words that I wrote contained no judgment. It saw me as nothing more than human. And I could compose lines about how much I wanted to take a boy's hand and walk with him on the beach, our wet toes treading the warm sand, and we would kiss as the sun went down, as the vehicular urban city symphonies plays in the background. I would write about how with every pat of my blush and every bat of my eyelashes, I took some of that power that those hurled insults took from me. That I see vivaciousness in doing my eyeshadow. That I see power in applying my eyeliner because I get to decide whether I kept it straight or whether I blurred it out. But the power was mine. Through my words, I became impervious to theirs. And now there's not a single insult that my highlighter can't deflect. I even came to terms with my father through my writing. Let me realize that his ignorance does not mean that he loves me any less, but that he only grew up in a different time, in a different place, under a different set of values, and that, hey, he's not perfect, but damn, he's trying his best. I became comfortable living in this in-between gradient of where the line between the red and the blue just kind of mixes together. And there is so much power in that. I would take a little bit of the red and a little bit of the blue, and I would mesh it together, and I would blend until I stood in front of my mirror, royalty, a king, a queen, me. My poetry contains every facet of me, every part of me. And it is through my poetry that I finally realized that it's okay to just be. So, yeah, I write about things I don't really comprehend. Life, love, boys. Roses being reds and violets being blue, and the purple that I hope we can all learn how to embrace. Thank you.